My name is Mae. I'm from The Upcoming, and it's really a pleasure to meet both of you today. Let's start with you, Peter. Could you just tell us, please, give us a brief introduction into this film and what people can expect when they go and see this?
Well, they're going to see what they expect, which is a film about a hero, a guy who plays a superhero on screen at the greatest performance ever, the pioneering performance for all of the Marvel and DC films that we've seen since. They're going to see that. They're going to see somebody who then, after kind of a really awful accident leaves him quadriplegic, becomes something of a hero in life in terms of how he confronts that adversity and uses it for good in the world. So they're going to see all of that. But I think they're going to see something else, which is a film about family and about love and about legacy. And those are the things that became really important to us as we made the film.
Ian, can you explain to us what made you want to, take this story on and tell it to the world?
I think when we approach a new project with Peter, we always want the story to have that emotional gravitas. And in the case of the Christopher Reeve story, he had all of the elements of a massive epic story. First of all, is just you get the opportunity to play with the visuals and the legacy of what Superman and what Superman means. And very quickly, when we approach the project, Peter was just alluding to it, it's just how can a man from a young upstart actor become the greatest well-known figure playing Superman? So for people's mind, he was invincible. He could do nothing wrong. And then he carries on his career and tries to run away from this role because he wanted to reinvent himself. Has the accident and then spend the following 9 years as a quadriplegic on a vent, reharnessing the power and the fame of Superman to do good for the world. So that was an amazing arc, and we just had the opportunity to try to do and tell that story and bring it, to bring all the emotion that story meant.
And the film is called Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. But Dana's importance is very much highlighted in this film. Why do you guys think that was, important to showcase to the audience? Let's start with you, Peter.
Well, we kind of have two love stories in the film, I think it's important to say. First, we have Gay Exton, who Christopher started a relationship with while he was playing Superman, so at the height of his powers, which produced two children, Alexandra and Matthew, who are two of the stars of our film. And then later in life, he meets and marries Dana. Dana is the person who goes on that journey through the 9 years after the accident with Christopher and, just is like the rock for the family. But more than that, I mean, somebody put it beautifully the other day, it's sort of like you have a sense of light exuding from her. She's just a life-enhancing person. And that came over in all of the interviews, but it came over especially in the archive, all of the archive gems we were able to get of her, because Christopher had a home video camera and he shot a lot of, which he got initially to kind of like send videos of himself to the kids after he'd left the family and gone to America. They were in England. But then he used it to sort of like document in a way or just film his life with Dana and the arrival of Will. And it was just like the ultimate gift to have that, because it really helped us to bring Dana to life on screen.
And speaking of Dana, we see in this film, there's this kind of like this divide between the very different approaches or the very different takes that people have when it comes to disability, finding the cure or some people perceive wanting to find a cure as a shame into the disability that you have. You guys discussed that a little bit with the film, and you talk about Dana's importance in looking after the care. Why did you guys, was that difficult to kind of navigate and also kind of like explore without being too
contentious?
Yes.
He was contentious. So I think we highlight the fact he was contentious because in his case, he wanted to walk again. He never hid that. And but he's a very intelligent human being, so he could understand that other people might not have that view. But that means he shouldn't have to change his view if he wants to do it. And as Michael says in the film, he got up every day to change people's life. He can say whatever he wants. Do you see what I mean? That's in the film. It's not me. But I think what Dana bringing the element of family, bringing the element that if someone has an accident as bad as that, obviously the person is going to suffer a huge amount. But everyone around them, the kids will never be cuddled the same way. The kids will never play football or any sports with their mother or father or with a sibling or grandparent. And I think that's what she wants to highlight, is just that, yes, let's try to find potential ways to improve people's life. You might call it cure or just improve. Everyone wants to be slightly better. In his case, he couldn't breathe on his own. He needed 24 hours care. And then I was there to just highlight, it's true, some people they will never walk again, but let's make it more accessible to do sport or to go to school or to be able to drive or whatever it was, hunting or whatever people want to do. That's what both of them shows. They didn't want barriers. They didn't want borders. They want people to achieve their dreams. Despite that, for society puts a lot of closed down things on us, and they just wanted to push that.
When you do documentaries, most people do them in chronological order, but this film was very much an oscillation in the before and after of Christopher's injury. Why did you guys decide to do it that way, Peter?
I think we had some experience of how you tell a biographical story when we made Alexander McQueen's story, and also just as filmmakers previously, how you lay out a narrative and structure it is key to the emotional content and how you're going to express the emotional content. That's why structure is so important. It's not to kind of like play games with the audience. And with this story, we kind of like felt there was a real danger if we did it in a linear way that it would just become episodic. And then he played Superman, and then he did this film, and then he did that film, then he had the accident. And it's just everything has equal weight, and there isn't a sense of something pulling you through the narrative. And we felt that although Superman was key to this, the Christopher's career around Superman, the other parts he played before the accident and his life before the accident was crucial. We felt that the real story started after the accident, because you have this really beautiful story about somebody who goes from suicidal despair to finding a reason to live, to having a purpose for his life, which he spreads across the world, really. Also, somebody who reconnects with his family in a way that perhaps he hadn't done before the accident. And I think that story is beautiful and something we really wanted to highlight and put front and centre, and then just tease in and out the other aspects of his past in such a way that they counterpoint or mirror or give you some emotional...
I would argue that there's a lot of really good documentaries who actually play with structure. I think sometimes actually there's the non-fiction and documentaries are a space where a lot of people experiment in really interesting ways. It's one of the really exciting things, and we wish people would go more to the cinema to enjoy them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.